Hey guys, MS Element here, back again with a new video. Today we're gonna go over my deck profile for Masked Siyan SS3 Bardock reboot. I hope you guys are excited. We have a big announcement at the end of the video, so stay tuned till the end. Let's get right into the deck profile. So Masked Siyan Leader, once per turn, burst 3, add 1 card from life to your hand, and then if you burst a black card, he gets critical. If you burst any other color, he gets plus 5k. He's on tap 1, draw 1 at 4 life. And then on the Awaken side, he does have the same once per turn where you burst 3. You don't have to take a life. But he also has a Spirit Boost interaction that if you do Spirit Boost in your turn, you can take a life to restand him. And he also draws a card when he swings. Cool interaction with that leader. And it's the same interaction as the other Black Masked Siyan Bardock that we had, is that whatever boost you get on the Awaken side, when you awaken, it carries over. So let's say you're at 5 life, you take a life, burst 3, awaken, whatever he got on the on Awaken side carries over to the Awaken side, which can turn him into a potential 25 critical that draws a card. Because he's a Saiyan only leader, we actually run some of the Vegex pack. We run 4 Unison, 4 Supreme Kai, and 4 Time Agent. I don't run the Trunks because this is an aggro deck. We do have a bunch of ways to awaken, so he's not that relevant to what our game plan is. And sometimes it feels bad if you hit too many of them with the burst, and then you're not able to overwhelm. And we'll go over the overwhelm package in a minute. So that's that. Then from the new starter decks, we have the Masked Siyan and the Black Masked Siyan. These cards are very crucial for your deck, only because of the Spirit Boost, right? Once you do Spirit Boost, you can untap your leader by taking a life. I think this is the best card that came on that starter deck. You pay 1 colorless or any color, and then he goes into pending. Your opponent either bottoms decks a life or he comes into play, and he's a 15k dual attacker. And then this one is treated as black on all areas, and then once per turn you can add a life, self-awakening, and he gets 11k for the swing. You can Spirit Boost 1 to restand him, but you don't have to take a life to get the 11k because the 11k is for the turn, not for the battle, which is really good. Then a little bit of more self-awakening and to help us with bad matchups, which is blue. We run through Fire and Spirit, and we also run the SS Vegeta super combo. So this deck struggles with hand size, so running this super combo is way better than just drawing 1. And also because we run some skill lists that are not black, you don't want to see them in your hand, and this is a good way to put them on the bottom of your deck, and eventually you can search them out. Self-awakening, which is great also. Then the other reason why we run the Through Fire and Spirit is because of this guy. Turn 4, you send 1 Son Goku Sinnoh and then 1 Vegeta Sinnoh from your drop to your warp, and then he comes into play. He's a triple attack blocker, and then when he swings, your opponent has to send 2 cards from their hand and 2 cards from their battle area, ignoring barrier, to the warp. Then at the end of the turn, this card restands, and he's a blocker. Then for our defensive package, we run 2 Power Burst, 2 Supreme Kai. These cards are great, and then Power Burst can cycle your pseudo combo Supreme Kai. And then to start the overwhelm package and keep it with our theme of overwhelm, we run SS Bardock. It's a great card if you know that your opponent is gonna stall your turn, but he also has the opportunity to like go hard on their next turn. You can just overwhelm this for 1 black and just pass the turn. Obviously, you're gonna swing and whatnot, but it's a good way to not go too deep on turns that you shouldn't go too hard. Then we run a second unison, which I think is what makes this deck tick. Demigra, I run it at 4 because I want to see this card turn 2. Every single game that I played this card turn 2, you're 80%, 90% winning the game unless you're against blue. Blue can do some nasty things and we don't like it. But him, it gives you Overrealm Wormhole. So you play your for Overrealm and then burst 1. And then you can +1 to move 2 black cards from your warp to your drop, revealing that, and being able to do more Overrealms. One of the best Overrealms that we run on this deck is Revive Ravager Vegeta. His critical 15k comes out for free. You don't have to pay any energy. Like I said, Overwhelm for 3, and then when he comes in play, he bursts 3 cards. And the amount of times that I have played this and burst more Flea Blade it's insane. Then to keep on the pressure, we play 1 SS4 Bardock and 3 SS3 Son Goku Man on a Mission. This card is also really MVP. It's a 20 critical double strike, and the things that we can do turn 2 are really disgusting, and our opponents are like, crit again, really? Like, there's nothing they can do about it turn 2. Your turn 2, their turn 1. And then to close out our Overwhelm package, we play 3 of Dimension Support Trunks with 3 skill less 20k. So he comes for 1. You get to play a skill less from your deck, which is important. And then to round out some of the other colors, we play 3 Champas. The reason why I was saying earlier that you want to cycle cards back into your deck is because of this. If you see this in your hand, it's a dead card essentially. Besides the point, they are 5k, but also when you are doing your burst, they also help to get that +5 boost. And then for our secret on the deck, we run Sing Chen Run. I think this is one of the best secret rares you can run on this deck. As of right now, it's pretty cheap too. It has so much potential to stop your opponent by paying energy. So you combo with him, he comes into play, you pay another energy, and then you can play him. And he just taps a bunch of stuff on your opponent's side, and he's a blocker. And then if you're doing him defensively on turn 3, on turn 4 you can pay the 4 energy and he gets double strike and dual attack, which is really great. Now we're gonna go over to the website and show some of our side deck options. So here you guys have a better view of the deck, a little bit easier for you guys to follow up and whatnot. But what I wanted to showcase was the side deck. So like I was saying, like turn stoppers are a big problem. So for those matchups, we have 2 super Kamehamehas. They can get rid of topos and things that are considered like your turn stoppers. Then Protector of the People is for those super aggro red decks. I know King Vegeta was nerfed, but they're still running around and they're gonna be doing some degenerate stuff regardless. Then your Brainwash No More is more for your Brawly mashups that have big numbers and double strike or more than double strike. Then Secret Identity is more for your spam decks like Videl, Kidku. and decks that play a lot of tokens, then this card, I think we should find a spot on the main deck because it's really good. It can potentially stop your opponent unison, and in the worst case scenario, you have a limit one active main battle. If your opponent is attacking with only one card, that's the card that they have to choose to send to the warp, um, based on the cards on their drop. I think this card is very slept on, and people should pick it up before the price skyrockets because it can go in any deck. Then some Banisher Foods for, a little bit of removal. And like I was saying before, this deck does struggle with hand size. So for that reason, we have two of these in the side deck. You pay two and draw two. Not the best cost for what it does, but it does help you if you don't have, or if you know your opponent has a lot of answers and you don't want to dump your hand. When you can just pay two, send it from your drop to the warp, and then draw two, and then it's also a good target for the plus 5k. Now that we went over a little bit of the side deck, we're actually going to take it back to the mat, and we're going to show you guys a couple of the good plays that we can do turn two. So now we're going to go over a couple of the better opening hands and combos that we can do with this deck. If you go first, you're going to want to charge an energy, do your leader effect to take a life, burst 3, and I know this is very situational, but it is one of the most broken opening hands you can have. You'll charge. You can actually play out one of your Gokus just to make sure you don't get counter, and if they counter you, they'll have to neg a card. And what we're gonna do next, it's really nasty. Like, we're gonna hit him with a bunch of crits. We can actually take people to 5 or even 4 lives, all being criticals. And if they try to negate, they'll just keep losing cards, which is what you want to do. You want to control how many cards they get to hand and whatnot. So at this point, you took a life, you burst, and you're gonna pass your turn. I know the meta is pretty aggro, so at least you're gonna get one hit. That's one more card in your hand. And then what you want to do is, as soon as your opponent passes, and the draw for turn, you're gonna charge something that you don't need. We're gonna charge this, and here is when this deck just goes off turn 2, and this is one of the best ways to do it. So we're gonna go ahead. We're not gonna do our leader effect just because we need to have 6 on the drop. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to go ahead first. We're going to play a Demigra. And this is why we played this card. It gives you so much burst on your second turn. After we do Demigra, we're going to go ahead and we're going to Overwhelm. Now that we Overwhelm his auto triggers, we burst 1 card. That's 1 less card that we have to worry about. Then we can go ahead and do the +1 on this leader, which will let you bring 2 black cards from your warp to your drop. So we'll go ahead and grab 2 black cards, put them in the drop. Now that you have 3 cards in the drop, you can go ahead and do your leader effect. Burst 3, 2, 3. And right now we have +5 and crit. And we get another card in play. If this happens, don't worry about it because part of the combo is using Champa. So you're gonna get your 6 cards in the drop. So since our leader is 15k, we can go ahead and either attack with the Revive Ravager, or we can swing with our leader. We'll go ahead and do this, swing for 15, and then here is when we can go ahead and combo. We'll go Champa here. It's a 25. It's turn one. They're probably tapped out because a lot of decks tapped out on their first energy. So that's a 25 double strike that they're probably going to take. And now we have 6 cards in the drop again. Here, to extend our play, we can go ahead and awaken by swinging with this, taking a life. And then if he takes it, it doesn't really matter. We're just putting a lot of pressure. Then we'll go ahead and awaken on tap 1, draw 1, awaken our leader. Now he's a 20k critical. We can go ahead and do the auto again. 1, 2, 3. We play our Kai. He doesn't get a boost because he already has critical. And that's why we splash a couple of colors in there, just to make sure we get that boost. Unfortunately, we didn't get it, but that's completely fine. We'll go ahead, swing with our leader, draw one more card, and that's another critical, 20 critical. He has received 3 critical hits in the same turn, right? He potentially could be at -3 from life. And now we'll go ahead and put some pressure. If they play in a unison, we can swing with this, which is really good to get rid of unisons. If it's a minus, if it's below 5, we can swing with Demigra, and we'll show you how to extend your play as much as possible, right? So you swing, then you go ahead, you make sure they're spending cards, and now because we have Wormhole, we can go ahead and overwhelm again. That's a 20k double strike critical. And because we have the Kai on the field, if we have 5 cards in hand, which it's very easy to do with this deck, you can combo a 10k from the field. So we'll go ahead and swing with 20k crit. And here we can go ahead, use the super combo, so cycle some of the cards that you don't want in your hand, you want this in your deck. Go ahead, put this in the bottom of the deck. Draw 1, draw 2. And then you can either go a little bit more aggressive, or if you want to just keep it at 30. It's really difficult for people to actually be able to sustain that much damage. And then we can go ahead and use this card, paying 1, do the Spirit Boost effect, go down to 1. Either your opponent bottom decks a card from their life, or he enters in play. So regardless, you're doing at least 1 damage with this card. Let's say because of all the swings that we have done this turn, they're probably at 3 life. They don't want to take more life. Or if they get greedy and they want to take the life, it doesn't matter, because you Spirit Boosted, you can actually take a life and restand your leader. He doesn't have critical anymore, but it's a 25 swing. Let's say it doesn't come in play. It's perfectly fine. And we can go ahead and swing with our leader and take another card. So this is what a basic turn 2 setup looks like, and it's really, really strong. That's why I really like having this unison in the deck. It gives me so much potential. The only problem with this is that if you're playing against blue and you play your first Overrealm and they bounce it back to your hand, his effect never trigger and you lose your Overrealm. So you have to be very careful. A lot of blue negates that do that require unison in play with 2 counters or more. That's why we're swinging with a couple of things to make sure we remove some markers from that unison. And this is what a good solid turn 1 looks like. Hope you guys find it informative, and if you have any questions, please let me know. So I want to say thank you for staying till the end if you did. If not, I still appreciate you. But before we go, we have an announcement, and it is once we hit 150 subs, we're gonna be giving away one of the new anniversary boxes. To be able to be eligible, you need to be subscribed, like the video, and comment the reason why you want to get the box. If it's because you want to see some of the reprints, or just whatever reason you want to throw in there, or just leave a comment if you like the video and whatnot. Any feedback is great, and we'll see you guys next time.